10 seconds. That is how long it takes for a dry Christmas tree to catch fire. And the Corpus Christi Fire Department wants to make sure you don't have to experience that firsthand during this holiday season. Earlier today, firefighters gathered here at the Del Mar West campus for a sobering demonstration showing just how dangerous live Christmas trees can be when they are not properly watered. Firefighters say this tree caught fire in just about a minute.
The tree becomes dry, and just like grass or anything else that's planted out in a field, once it becomes dry, well, it's more susceptible to burning then. So by keeping it hydrated, again, you lessen the chance of the tree burning or not burning as fast.
By the way, national statistics show that on average about 200 house fires are caused by Christmas trees each and every year, with both real and artificial trees. Fire experts urge everyone not to overload outlets, to set up a tree far away from any fireplaces, and to turn the lights off before you go to bed.